The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools. If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
What's going on, everybody? It's a Friday. It's a football Friday. It's always good when it's a football Friday. Eric Frandsen, Ajay, Salvesen, and not just a normal football Friday. It's a playoff football Friday. So a lot of different games going on tonight throughout the state, and we'll talk about a few select games that we're going to be paying attention to, and let you know where you can tune in, where you can follow along on some of the games here locally. So that's part of what we're going to be doing. I'll also share some of our predictions, what we think might happen this week, kind of some of our keys for Utah State as they take on Air Force this weekend as well. It's a big day in college football coming up this weekend. In the NFL, Utah Jazz. We got Major League Baseball, World Series. Ajay, this is like every day you're drinking out of a fire hose with so much great sports stuff going on.
Yeah, it's nice to have that problem, isn't it? Just to be able to oh, wow, we got to talk about this. Oh, yeah, we got to fit this. Oh, how we got to fit this into our show, too. Okay, well, we're going to have to be short on this segment and short on this topic, but fill out the rest on this. And so, yeah, it is fun, and it's good. I should be in Air Force today. I am not in Air Force today because, well, my bank account wasn't big enough. So here I am, Eric, with you. You were surprised and very disappointed, and I understand that. And
why are you here?
See? Wow. It's that kind of attitude.
It was like, what? I was just surprised. Wow. What a pleasant surprise.
No, you were upset. You were livid. You were very upset, and I don't know why. It's not entirely my fault. But boy, you
told me you were going to be gone, and then you weren't gone, and so
I know. Well, and then when I told you, hey, there's something else that came up, I told you yesterday, and then you came back and you just totally ignored that. Made me feel bad.
And then on top of that, I was surprised to see that you were going to be here and not calling a Mountain Crest game.
Okay, dude, and I told you yesterday. But
I'm glad you're here.
I don't really think I don't feel like you really mean that, though. I feel like you're just lying to me.
So Mountain Crest plays tonight. Let's run through that. We got a bunch of high school games going on tonight.
Yeah.
Throughout the state and close to home. We've got Mountain Crest Mustangs taking on Uinta.
The competitive Uinta team.
How competitive are they, Ajay?
Well, they've lost all their games, but you know what? At least they're trying. And that's what parents care about the most, that their kids are trying.
So this new RPI ranking in the playoff system is, congratulations, you did not win a game. You were totally defeated. But here you go. Here's a medal for participation in the playoffs. That's what
mommy and daddies want. They went to the UHS and said, look, my kid's really trying, and I feel like you guys are punishing him. Okay? And then when I said,
don't know how hard they're working.
And you know what? When I said, hey, when that ball hit that kid right in the numbers, and I said, well, he should have caught it, I got an email from mommy saying, you know what? That wasn't really nice of you to say. So I'm going to be nice. Uinta is trying, and they deserve to be in the playoffs because, boy, they really worked hard to go 0-8.
So they've not yet won a game, but Mountain Crest
is rewarded.
Gets them in the opener. So it'll be Mountain Crest tonight, 5 o'clock kickoff. Pre-game coverage starting at about 4:45 on 107.7 FM.
AJ Knight. Matt Adams. My man, Matt. He's a good dude.
Matt filled in for you a few weeks ago.
Yep, and did a really good job.
Yeah.
Really good job, and I think he has great detail of the game. You are going to miss my funny sponsors. That will be unfortunate for all the Mountain Crest fans. They don't get to hear my funny sponsors for the scoreboard updates. Oh, they were good, Eric.
I have not heard your
You've not
scoreboard
heard
update sponsors.
Well, I'll tell you what. During our, we have a special guest coming in at 5 o'clock today to give us some predictions and thoughts on Saturday and Sunday's games. Maybe we'll get him a sponsor. A funny sponsor.
Okay. I want to mention, since we're talking about Mountain Crest, we got this note today. The Mountain Crest Junior Bantam football team They're looking to finish a perfect season. They've gone 10-0 in the Wasatch Front Football League. They if they win the WFFL Mini Bowl on Saturday, they will be they'll be totally undefeated.
They'll be the Mini Bowl champs.
Yep. So they play Saturday night, 5:30, Northridge High School, and they're heading into the game as the number 1 seed. They're classified as the home team, and looking to get a repeat win over a tough North Ogden team to win the championship. So best of luck, Junior Mustang.
Yeah, and Eric, because I know I've been a part of competitive Little League football. I was for years, and I never made it to the Mini Bowl. I made it to the semifinals, but never got to the championship. And usually it's because of the Ogden teams. Them or Bear River would always knock us out. So this Bantam football team, it's you have all these players. Carson Thatcher, Cole Jones, Zion Fulger, Jackie Bitten, Thatcher Phelps, Carson Butters. I'm going to read all the kids' names because they deserved it. J.C. Jones, Sam Schroeder, Joseph Pedri, I hope I got that right, Casey Crofts, Dax Benson, Will DeCover, Sam Hunt, Caden Lindley, Mason Gary, Landon Lowe, Anthony Mendoza, Owen Ryan, Ash Anderson, Rigdon Anderson, Josh Booth, Jackson Carley, Carter Garrett, Ethan Madsen, Keon Merritt, Raiden Lockwood, and Chase Seegers. The coaches are head coach Josh Carley, Greg Fulger, Aaron Geary, Rich Benson, Paul Thatcher, Rob Phelps. So congratulations to them. Really, really exciting. And like I said, I've been there, Eric. I've been in the best of the best and played the best of the best in Little League. And I've lost. I've never made the Mini Bowl. My brother made the Mini Bowl. I think they lost 12-6, I believe, if I remember right. They lost on a Statue of Liberty play, Boise State style.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a gutsy call. And ended up losing the Mini Bowl. But yeah, it's so hard to make it there. It's so hard with how many teams and the talent that's gathered. So for Mountain Crest to not only be in the Mini Bowl, but be playing for an undefeated season is awesome. So go get them, kids. Go for a win. But remember, if you don't win, you're still winners, and you get your Capri Sun and donut after the game, because that's what it's all about. The treats.
It's already been a great season for him. So
no, it's
congrats.
incredible. 10-0? Is that or
yeah,
they're going
10-0. 10-0.
Jeez.
Going for 11
That is
tomorrow night.
not easy. Awesome.
Well, I guess they're looking to finish a perfect 10-0 season.
Okay.
So, anyway, best of luck to them tomorrow at the championship.
Yep.
Very, really cool what's going on.
Eric, we're on our way to Salt Lake. Maybe we could stop by and go to the game together. Share a churro and a popcorn.
So anyway, there's also, I understand something else might be cool happening before the Mountain Crest game tonight too.
Sure.
So if you can get there early, make sure you get there early tonight. This afternoon. It's not even tonight. The game, just stress this enough, the game starts at 5. It's an early kickoff.
Yeah. It's an evening game. And like you said, I've heard word of what's going on. Get there early.
We can't talk about it now.
Get your seat and go.
So listen,
Please.
if you can't make it, listen to AJ's broadcast.
Yep.
He is aware of what's happening. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And if you go, just take a box of tissues. All right.
So that's what's going on with Mountain Crest.
We're not done yet, though.
No. Logan is also playing at 5 o'clock.
And they're at home, right?
They're at home. Everybody's at home.
Yeah.
So Logan is at home, and they have... Where'd they go on my list? Oh, they got Ogden.
Oh, Ogden.
Yes, they're playing Ogden tonight. So Al Lewis on the pregame. From what I understand, it'll be a shorter pregame for him. But game starts at 5, and it'll be on KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM. Streaming online, kvnutalk.com, and on the KVNU mobile app. So Ogden and Logan, really close to each other. They're right there. Logan was 16, Ogden was 17. So Logan was the last team to get to be considered a home team. So still, it's a home game. And the Grizzlies looking for a little bit of mojo here. And they've had a little extra time off. They did not play on the UEA short week. So working on some things, trying to improve themselves. We'll see how they do tonight as they take on Ogden. And then there's another game tonight that's a little bit later. That one starts at 6, and that's Bear River. They're hosting Ben Lomond tonight. Ben Lomond has not had a good season either, but that game will be on 104.9 FM in Box Elder County. Tommy Sorensen and Logan Jones will be on the call. And again, their pregame at about 5:45, kickoff at 6. And then there's one more game that we want to mention that's happening. It's actually being played tomorrow, and that's Ridgeline. They play Hurricane. Hurricane coming up from Southern Utah. Somehow they arranged it with Ridgeline to not have the game tonight, but to schedule it for tomorrow. And that game will be at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Dave Simmons and Nick Zollinger will be on the call. Those guys are always entertaining. That will be on 104.5 FM. And if you want streaming links, if you can't hear it over the regular radio, we have links to stream it online, all on CashValleyDaily.com. Just on the go to the menu, click on Sports, Prep Sports, and you'll see the link there for local high school football schedules.
Yeah, this is a fun time of the year. And congrats to the teams who, well, I was going to say congrats to the teams who made the playoffs, but everybody made the playoffs. But congrats to Green Canyon and Skyview on getting bye weeks and getting a chance to rest to get ready for next week. And by the way, you could easily see Skyview and Green Canyon making it to the semifinals just the way the bracket's set up. They're both very capable of getting that far. They're that good.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Skyview and Green Canyon are not playing tonight, but they are very active. They are going to be paying very close attention.
Oh, yeah.
So Skyview is going to be watching what happens between Cedar Valley and Canyon View, because that's who they'll face. The winner of that game, they'll face them next week. And that game will be in Smithfield. And then Green Canyon, they're watching what happens between Cedar and Crimson Cliffs. And the winner of that game will come up to North Logan to face Green Canyon next week.
And you could send coaches out. You really could. You could say, hey, I need you to go take a look at this game and just tell me what you see. What are you seeing offensively? What are you seeing defensively? Stuff like that. You could honestly send a coach out and get a really good scouting report.
Yeah, both of those are down in southern Utah, aren't they? Or Cedar Valley. Where's Cedar Valley?
It's in a valley in Cedar. Doesn't matter. They could still spend a 5.5 hour drive and go check it out. They don't play till next Friday.
The Cedar Crimson Cliffs, that Cedar City is where that game is being played. So anyway, but if everybody wins out, if it's a great Friday night and Saturday afternoon for all Region 11 teams, here's what will happen. Logan will travel to Park City. Sorry, Logan. You get the number one undefeated team in the state if you beat Ogden, but you get to play another game. Green Canyon, they're at home next week, as we talked about. Bear River, they would travel down to Pineview, which is the number 5 team in the state. Mountain Crest would travel to Stansbury, who's number 6.
That's a winnable game, by the way.
I think you're right. I think
that's a very winnable game for Mountain Crest. Don't leave that out.
And who am I missing? Ridgeline, they will travel to Dixie, who's the number 3 team in the state.
So what time is that Skyview game next week? Because that will affect our show, won't it?
It could. So the UHSAA just says all games are at 4. They just kind of blank statement. This is what it is. Until teams say, we've worked it out with the other school. This is when we're actually going to do it.
Okay.
Because some want it to be right after kids get out of class. So if you're having an opponent that has to travel a distance, then they're going to put it later or on a different day.
Okay.
So right now, everything just says 4 o'clock, with the exception of Snow Canyon versus Desert Hills, because they have a first round bye. They already know they're going to face each other next week. They've already set their time for 7 o'clock. But everything else for UHSAA says 4 o'clock.
And those
it'll all change.
And those are all next Friday games, right? None of those would be like on a Saturday. As of right now.
As of right now, they'll all be Friday games.
Okay, I would imagine that's how I was going to. Well,
but if
going to St. George, though,
Logan might have to. Not Logan. It wouldn't be a really big thing for Logan, but
no.
Bear River might have to do a lot of travel. Ridgeline would have to do travel down to southern Utah. Both those would have to travel to southern Utah. So that those could be moved to a later time or to a Saturday afternoon, like what's happening with Ridgeline. So we'll know more on Saturday or probably first thing Monday.
Yeah.
Once the dust settles and then they start to figure out who's playing whom. But that's what we know for now. We will have the updated scores and what happens next with these teams, if anything has happened, later on tonight, and then again we'll update it tomorrow. But hey, also want to pass this along. West Side, huge win for them, dominating Soda Springs last night.
Oh, good for them
on a Thursday night, 46-6.
Ooh,
yeah, West Side.
Yeah,
always
put a hammer
really
on
good
him.
football.
Well, good for West Side.
Good for them.
How about Preston? Do we have any?
Preston plays tonight at 7.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they're playing an out-of-conference game. They play Snake River, if I'm not mistaken. So
Preston's a good football team. I think if they've
had a good year.
Yeah, and I think they'll make a run at it when it comes to division and state time.
So that's what's going on for high school football. So in the we'll continue to update our Preps Pick'em Challenge. If you haven't already made your picks, you're too late.
I am. I totally forgot to make my picks.
You are too late, Ajay.
Are
Again,
you sure?
You have another week where you've missed, which
I'm
is
busy.
Means I get free lunch. You're going to buy me lunch.
Why does that make you get free lunch?
Because I'm going to have a better overall score than you.
That doesn't mean you get free lunch. We never.
You
made
told
that
me
bet.
that we said if you could beat me,
that
you'd buy me lunch.
That's not true. That's
I'll have
not
to go
true
back
at all.
and check the tape.
By the way, for those who are wanting to listen to the games tonight, you can find it on CashValleyDaily.com. Go to the menu bar, go to the local sports bar, and you'll see where you can find the stream for all the games. 104.9 FM for Bear River, of course, 610 AM KVNU for Logan, 104.5 FM for Ridgeline, and 107.7 with Mountain Crest. Those will be your broadcasts for tonight's games. Can't wait. I'm excited. And I do not owe you lunch because we never made that deal.
Yes, we did. We made it over the air.
Do you have the audio?
I have a text message from Clint Payne, who was listening that day.
Don't go with what Clint Payne says. Good heck. They could tell you better people to believe in Clint
I have a
Payne.
project for Monday's show, is find the audio.
Yes, you actually do.
Prove you wrong.
That's a good project for you, Eric. That will keep you busy.
Still, a lot of other things to get through here on the show. We're going to take a step aside. When we come back, we got World Series action tonight. We got the Utah Jazz in action tonight. Who is going to be available for the Jazz and who won't? A couple guys that got a little bit dinged up in the opener, and how might that affect the rotation and the starting lineup? So we'll discuss that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Bad internet signal. I hate it. It says 2 bars, but it doesn't work. And video buffering? Don't get me started on video buffering. So tired of that circle on the screen spinning and spinning and spinning. Lens Audio and Video can solve your bad internet with Mesh Network. There's more to it than a bigger router or paying for faster internet. Have Lens do a signal test, show you a mesh network and improve your internet. Improve and extend your coverage. Stop the spinning circle on your screen. Call or stop by Lens Audio and Video right now and ask about a mesh network for your internet.
Hey guys, have you heard any good mattress ads lately? This is Ryan at My Mattress, and we know it gets a little silly with all the mattress ads. Now let me throw our hat in the ring by reiterating our first rule, our 30-day price guarantee. That includes online, going out of business, and yes, scratch and dent, code word for used, mattress sales at any time. Our second rule is our 60-day sleep guarantee. If you don't like it, switch it for one that you do. At My Mattress, we want you to buy here because you get the best deal here. My Mattress by the South Walmart.
Since I installed bathroom tile with the Dietra heat system from Castelite, my wife never sleeps in our bed. Honey, it's time to come to bed.
But it's so warm.
Oh.
Your wife will enjoy the Dietra heat system from Castelite and Logan enough to sleep on it.
Could you bring me a blanket and pillow?
With Castelite and the Dietra heat system, you'll turn your bathroom into the warm haven you deserve. Online at Castelite.com.
Are you struggling with sleep apnea but cannot tolerate CPAP treatment? Join Dr. Zach Robinette of Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat for a free educational seminar about sleep apnea and alternative treatments for people who can't tolerate CPAP. Untreated sleep apnea can cause serious health issues, including heart attack, high blood pressure, and acid reflux. Learn about alternative CPAP options to start treating your sleep apnea. Wednesday, October 30th at 6 p.m. at the New Hampton Inn, located in downtown Logan. It's free. Google Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat for more info or to schedule a sleep apnea evaluation.
During this year's sports season, please be sure to patronize our patrons who helped make our calendar possible. Brighton Home Inspections, Carlin Inspection Services, Andrea Roylance with Movement Mortgage, Tracy Ferris with Quality First Insurance, Sid Roderer with Achievement Realty, Center Street Grill, Come Home to Clean, K Salon and Spa, Helpful Movers, Cash Meadow Grooming, A&W Root Beer All American Food, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. Brought to you by Prestige Marketing, LLC.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen, Full Court Press continuing on. We got a lot of games that we're going to be covering tonight and tomorrow for high school football. Doing it unlike, to my knowledge, anyone else in the state, where there's a designated broadcast crew for each school in Region 11. And I got to hand it to guys like you, Ajay, and the other guys that have done these games all season long.
It's been fun, man.
It really is. You guys have been
fun.
doing a great job. And appreciate people who tune in, the sponsors who make it possible. It's been a lot of fun.
We've made this CV Pick'em thing, or the Cash Valley Pick'em daily thing, weekly thing. That's been a blast. And the prizes are just out of this world. I think we've said it before. Look, a lot of other people or medias are doing this, and it's fun. But the prizes that we're giving away are just unreal, which includes the grand prize of a 65-inch 4K TV. I mean, that's your grand prize for the winners, and that's that's so cool.
Speaking of the grand prize, okay, so the weekly prize this week is $100 to Locker 42.
Could use one of those.
Amazing. And we'll announce that. We'll settle all the scores on probably late Saturday night once we make sure everything's verified. But the grand prize, we'll do that next week, probably near the tail end of the week, to kind of ramp up kind of our final last hoorah, as it were, for this contest. So stay tuned for that. If you were a weekly winner, you're qualified. So that'll be fun to do that. We'll do that live on air here on the Full Court Press sometime next week. We're working through some of the details. We have a guest here in studio with us to help us do that. That could be really cool. So stay tuned for that. Ajay, coming up tonight, World Series.
There's nothing on TV tonight, is there?
Game 3. The series shifts to Washington, D.C. Zach Greinke for Houston, Anibal Sanchez for the Nationals. Again, you have another great pitching matchup, but these games so far have been dictated by offense, especially late inning offense.
Well, and the thing with that is that, along with it, the pitchers are on the opposite end of the spectrum in regards of postseason play so far. Zach Greinke's 0-2 in 3 starts, 6.43 ERA. On the other side, Sanchez has been remarkable so far. Is it Sanchez is starting tonight, right? I believe.
Yes.
He's been remarkable. He hasn't lost a start yet. He threw a no-hitter going into the 8th inning in the NLCS. He's had plenty of rest, probably way too much. He'll be fresh. And again, when you have a lineup like the Nationals who will look, you always tell kids, when I was coaching high school, just make contact on an 0-2 count or in a big game, big at-bat situation, just make contact. Make them make a play. And the Nationals are the best team in the playoffs thus far at doing that. Putting the ball in play and making you have to make a play. And on the other side, the Astros, surprisingly, have not done too well at that. They've had some struggles, Can they get their defense on shore? Can they get their bats to quit swinging for the fence and actually just try to make contact? If they can do that, look, the Astros are a great hitting team with good power. If they can just contact swing, that ball's going to go somewhere. Make them make a play. That's what the Astros need to do tonight.
And this is Alex Bregman kind of sums up the attitude for their roster, what Houston is feeling right now coming into Game 3.
It's baseball. You go through stretches throughout the season where you don't swing the bat or pitch or play defense the way you want to play it. And I think it takes one game to stop the bleeding. And you play good one game, bleeding stops, panic stops, and you start playing the way you want to play.
So if they don't get this win,
it's over.
There's got to be a lot of panic.
Yeah, and
that Astros.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like, if the Astros were up 2-0, Washington wouldn't be panicking, right? I mean, there's just no way that they would panic because they've been there, they've done that, they've been in big time situations, and they've came through. They would just say, "Hey, it's another game where we're supposed to be eliminated. We've been through several, and let's go." We're not even supposed to be here. We're not even supposed to be in the World Series, and here we are. Let's just go let it loose. Let's just go have fun and play baseball for the last 3-4 games of the year. But on the other side, with Astros being down 2-0, all the pressure's on them. All of it.
Yeah.
Like, they're relying on Zach Greinke, a guy who's not shown up in postseason yet, to pitch well and to pitch against a very good, a very scrappy hitting baseball team. And then you're hoping that your defense actually shows up tonight. And if you don't get either, this game's going to turn to a rout, and you're going to be out of there by the 4th inning for his second non-quality start of the postseason. Like, they need Zach to go 6+ tonight because they used a chunk of bullpen in that rout, in that 12-3 rout in game 2. So they need him to go deep. On the other side, Nationals they can afford it, honestly. And if they win, they can definitely afford it.
Right now, they're playing on house money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's crazy. I would have never if you would have told me at the very first of the postseason that the Nationals would have beaten the Brewers, Dodgers, swept the Cardinals, and be up 2-0 in the Astros, I would have said you're crazy.
You probably would have said you're crazy anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So the game tonight is at 6 o'clock on Fox. The Nationals lead the series 2-0, and it's in Washington, D.C. Astros are favored in this one. But this has been a little weird, right? Because Garrett Cole had been so dominant in the postseason, and he wasn't that great. So maybe Greinke's got his bad games out of the way now, and he'll be better. Maybe it's just flip-flopped.
You hope so. Like, they got to get something fixed in Houston. Like, this is starting to become a joke to be getting beat this soundly. It's one thing to lose, but it's another thing to get beaten this soundly. They need to fix some things. And maybe going on the road will do that, which would be crazy, but you never know.
So this will be the first World Series game in Washington, D.C., and Davey Martinez says expect a loud crowd tonight.
I don't know what the Nats fans going to be like. I know they're going to be loud. I know it's going to be exciting here. They waited a long time for this opportunity, so I can't control that kind of stuff. So we know that they're going to be loud.
How exciting is that? I mean, I know what it was like in the state of Utah when the Jazz got to the NBA Finals for the first time. For any franchise to get to that level for the first time, well, look at what happened with Toronto, for example, last year when they made it to the NBA Finals for the first time. Whether you really are a fan of that team or not, that's a cool story to see the whole community come together for that one team in that one sport. Now, Washington, D.C., they're not unfamiliar with championships. I mean, the Capitals won it in the NHL They won the Stanley Cup just a few years ago.
But I feel like what this team has done puts this team more on hype, right? I mean, just like it overloads the energy and excitement. Like, oh my gosh, we weren't even supposed to be here, and now we're here in the World Series. We're up 2-0. We win tonight, 3-0. We're gonna win on Saturday night. We're absolutely. I mean, so you have that extra energy because it's this underdog Cinderella baseball team all the way to the World Series, beating up on the tough guy, the bully, and now you're about to close the book on it. You have 3 chances to put 2 games into the book and win this World Series. Win a World Series in Washington. By the way, I gotta ask you, what do you think Bryce Harper's thinking? Is he just sitting there counting cash, Benjamin Franklin's of the $300 million, or is he like watching the TV thinking, what in the world just happened?
I think he's resting on his couch of dollar bills, stacks of dollar bills, fanning himself with hundreds, and probably there's a little tear trickling down his face as he's fanning himself with $1,000, $10,000 in his hand. I'm sure he'd love to be there.
Yeah.
But he's also filthy, filthy rich.
Yeah, but come on. Would you rather have a World Series title or $300 million? Like, for someone
I think
cares
he's
so
hoping
much
they
about
don't
the
have
game
to be
of baseball.
mutually exclusive. I think he's thinking he can go to Philadelphia, and that's a franchise that can get him a ring. Because honest, when he was in Washington before this season, they had good pitching. They had years where they had some interesting pieces together, but they couldn't ever get this far.
So then what changed? He leaves, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, hey, we can now play really good.
Sometimes that's all a team needs is a unifying factor that everybody can get behind. And sometimes it's, let's go prove that one guy wrong. Rather than go play for each other or let's go rah-rah, let's do it for a coach. Sometimes it's, we want to just do it to spite that guy that left us. In fact, Davey Martinez talked a little bit about what his team has done, kind of replacing Bryce Harper, the success that they've had without him.
Yeah.
For me, Bryce chose to go elsewhere. But, the guys we've had, we knew, that we had the right guys to be able to step in and do the job. We really did. I mean, a healthy Adam Eaton, as you all know, you see what he can do. We got a young center fielder in Victor Robles that had an opportunity to play every day this year and has done well. And got a 20-year-old that's going to be 21 here in a day or two. That's been unbelievable. So he's, we were coming into spring training. We knew if these guys were healthy, and they were going to be very productive.
But honestly, they didn't really know until mid-May. They were bad.
Yeah.
Late May.
Oh, they were really bad. Yeah,
they were bad. They weren't really. They started to right their ship a little bit, but it wasn't even until mid to late June before they started to realize, hey, we've got something figured out here. We really got something going.
That's what's crazy. Like I don't know what it was, but it just clicked. Where they said, look, it's either do or die now, so let's just try and give it one good run. Well, one good run turns into a World Series. Like, how do you do that? How do you play your best baseball when you're 12 games under 500, fix it, get into a wild card playing game, and then, do you know who's most sick right now watching this? More sick than Bryce Harper is the Atlanta Braves. They've got to be disgusted right now. They get abolished in Game 5 of the NLDS, and then watch a team have to play a playing game just to get there. A team that, by the way, they throttled in the season series. And then get to watch them in the World Series. That's amazing to me.
So Game 3 tonight in Washington, D.C., 6 o'clock on Fox. Coming up next here on the Full Court Press, let's get into the NBA. There was some interesting games last night. Utah Jazz are in action tonight. Who will and who won't be available, and how does that affect the starting lineup and the rotations? We'll discuss that and reveal what the injury report is for the Jazz coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
I'm Nate Kreckman. This week in the Mountain West, San Diego State taking control in the West Division, but it's a 3-horse race in the Mountain between Boise State, Utah State, and Air Force. Aggies head coach Gary Anderson tells us what it's like to be back in Logan and talks about his star quarterback, Jordan Love. It's all this week on the Mountain West Radio Network. Friday afternoon during the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Students from all over rave about the education they receive at New Horizons Beauty College.
My name's Tessa, and I'm from Burley, Idaho. I feel like the instructors here are really awesome. Anytime we need help with anything, they're able to help us or show us different techniques, and I can learn something different from each instructor. We can always go to an instructor, and they'll definitely help us. At the end of a haircut, they'll always check to make sure everything's good and that we don't send someone out here with a bad haircut.
Begin your career in cosmetology at New Horizons Beauty College. 753-9779.
Young Honda and Young Toyota in Logan are bringing back their annual Trunk or Treat event, Saturday, October 26th from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. Put on your costume and head to Young Honda and Young Toyota on Logan's Main Street for trunk or treating and spooky fun. This event is free to the public and benefits Logan and Cache County school districts. That's Saturday, October 26th at Young Honda and Young Toyota in Logan. Visit youngtoyotahonda.com for details. Think young, think October fun.
This event is brought to you by Young Caring for Our Young and America First Credit Union.
This is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. October is our anniversary month. We've been helping couples find the perfect rings for over a decade. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary dinner. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring shopping or anniversary shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have over 3,000 rings in stock, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached, no purchase necessary, we will buy your dinner at Sweeto Burrito. The entire month of October, come in ring shopping and Sweeto is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
This is Bruce Rigby from Cache Valley Bank. We're a community bank, and Cache Valley is important to us. That's why we continue to invest in downtown Logan with new expansion. Our mortgage department is moving into a newly remodeled bank building just north of the Tabernacle. We are also remodeling the historic Thatcher Bank building at Center and Main, and we have a very experienced lending team there. With our new Hiram and Smithfield branches, it's now more convenient than ever to bank with us. Growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
The best businesses in America use Ricoh because Ricoh is considered the highest quality when it comes to copiers and printers. This is Nate Lamson with Valley Office Systems, your authorized Ricoh dealer in Logan. We have the perfect machine for any mid-size office. Ricoh's IMC 4500, leased at only $119 per month. Plus, you get service from a company that's won Ricoh's Circle of Excellence 7 years in a row. Find us at valleyofficesystems.com.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen, Full Court Press continues on.
Hello, everybody. What's going on?
Well, hello to you, Ajay.
What do you want to talk next, Eric?
Let's talk NBA. So, going on tonight, you've got the Jazz at the Lakers. But before we discuss what happened or what's going on tonight, just a quick look back at what happened last night. You had a couple of different games on. I thought the one that was the most interesting were the Milwaukee Bucks at the Houston Rockets. The Bucks were down 16 points at one point in this game, rallied back to win by 6, and then the Clippers just dismantled the Warriors. The Warriors could not stop the Clippers. But that Bucks Rockets game, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they're making it work. There was an exchange on the sideline where
I was going to say they're
you
making
wonder how
it
much
work.
more of that you're going to see. But Antetokounmpo was great. As usual, triple-double, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, a steal, and a block. Holy cow. Incredible. I mean, the guy did foul out, though, so he could have added to it. But, James Harden had 19 points, 14 assists, a steal, and a block. And then Westbrook, in his Houston Rockets debut, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 24 points.
Spicy beans with no nuggets in it. I love it. Here's the problem. James Harden was like one of something from the floor, and then he needed what's their bucket to be able to bail him out, right? I mean, they needed who was it? Free throws to bail him out. Sorry, I'm getting messages of all sorts here. They needed free throws to bail him out, just to be able to get them out of that situation where they were going to be in near darn trouble. And so, a great job by the Rockets. But again, a better job by the Bucks. Is Westbrook and Harden going to work? No. It's a volcano waiting to erupt.
There will be some games where they'll play well off of each other, and everybody will be, oh wow, what amazing athletes! Look what they can do together. But then there's going to be a lot of games where they're going to be ball dominant. Both of them are really going to be wanting the ball a lot, and it's not going to work out as well. Westbrook's going to go chase rebounds and triple doubles at the expense of some of his other teammates, and who knows? I don't think it's going to last. It'll be Coach D'Antoni's way of doing things that he'll prove us all wrong. But anyway, I think it's an interesting experiment to watch. It worked. It was not, well, I guess it didn't totally work because they lost, but there were long stretches there where they were able to play well on the court together. But honestly, I think the way this is going to end up happening is they'll play together for only a few stretches at a time. They'll start together and they'll play the first 6 minutes together, but then they'll alternate who's on the court. And maybe they'll close together. But I don't know that there's going to be long stretches where they're on the court at the same time. I just don't know how they coexist.
Yeah,
They both just rely on having the ball in their hands so much.
I'm with you. And it's crazy that Westbrook still nearly got a triple-double with all that. That's kind of what amazes me the most. Hey, another great game last night. And, well, I say a great game because it was fun to watch the talent on one side. Clippers 141, Warriors 122. What a beating that was. The Clippers just run away with it in the third quarter. And on a high note, 2-0 in 2 games where you beat the Lakers, your crosstown rival, then you beat the Golden State Warriors, the defending Western Conference champions for the last 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. And by the way, they're doing this all without Paul George. When he gets healthy and gets back on the floor in November, Lord help everybody who else is in the NBA, because that's just going to be scary, Eric.
Draymond Green was critical of his team, saying, "Oh, we got to be better. We just didn't have a good game." Kind of bagging on his team. Well, he was a minus 35 in the plus minus category. It doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah, 3 of 6 from the field for a measly 11. I mean, he was 4-4 from the free throw line with 11 points, but 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. They are starting to figure out what life is like when you tear out the roses, and the beautiful flowers, and you have this messy garden. And Steph Curry's starting to figure out, so this is what LeBron James went through for 4 or 5 years in Cleveland. Okay. It just incredible. And really, you read the numbers on the Warriors side. The work on the depth and the athleticism and just flat out good basketball talent and IQ on the Clippers is amazing.
Oh, they're scary good.
Oh my gosh.
And they're
Even
scary
when they go
deep.
to their bench, they're still good, Eric.
They're scary deep.
I mean,
we're only 2 games in for the Clippers, and sadly, the Jazz are going to face them twice in the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah,
but
sucks.
Wow, they look really good.
Montrezl Harrell was an animal off the bench in 25 minutes, 8 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from the line, 18 points. He also had 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Kawhi Leonard was Kawhi Leonard. He had 21 points. Patterson added in 20. Zubac. Dude, he had 16. That's what Kawhi Leonard on the floor does.
And 10 boards.
Yeah. And Patrick Beverley. Look, Patrick Beverley's offensive numbers are never going to wow you. In fact, they're going to probably make you laugh and nearly choke on your food. but it's his defensive presence and that attitude and that annoyance defensively that just
5 steals.
Dude,
incredible.
An absolute animal. And he had 4 boards, didn't he?
4 boards, 3 assists.
Good heck. And he had 3 assists?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. See, like he's such an effective player. And now you add on the fact that Kawhi and when they get Paul George back, best team in the Western Conference. Best team. And that alone just, man, scares the world out of me. That, like, as you said, Jazz got to face them twice. So
Jazz are at the Lakers tonight. Lakers lost their first game. Jazz won their first game. Jazz on the road tonight at L.A. Jazz will be without the services of Bojan Bogdanović. He has been ruled out. So the question is who replaces him in the starting lineup. And it's probably going to be Joe Ingles, would be my guess.
Yeah, no, Joe will replace him. Joe's got to be effective, as does Royce O'Neal. No Dante Exum again tonight. I'm done with him. I'm done.
Ajay, it's still going to... It's not like this is a new thing that he's not going to be available right now. It's still going to be a few more weeks before...
What is he rehabbing from again?
Knee.
What did he do to his knee?
He hurt it.
When?
This was... What was this? Was it February?
Did he tear it? Like,
I don't remember exactly.
What's the weight? It wasn't severe. What is the weight? Why are we sitting here dealing with separated shoulders and a sprained knee with Dante Exum? We are wasting money. He is a waste of money. We have wasted $33.2 million in 2 years for a guy who can't play. Like, look, I love Dennis Lindsey and the moves he's made this year, getting the team to where it is, in the roster, the way it's been built is wonderful. This is without a doubt the worst decision he's ever made in his GM career, though. Without a doubt. And it's playing it out just like I said it would. That he's not healthy and he isn't ready to go.
I haven't seen the timetable.
I'm annoyed.
I haven't seen a timetable for Exum's return.
Of course, and
I've
we won't.
seen reports of him doing 3-on-3 drills.
And you know what?
Practice.
And the last time he went to a G League game to play in it because he was coming off an injury, he was upset and he was livid and he felt like he shouldn't even have been there. Dante, let me remind you, there are 3 other guys that are better than you right now on that floor, in that roster, in your spot, that I would take over you. And you're not even healthy yet. So, yeah, he's got to figure it, man. I don't know. We should have traded him in February. We had the chance.
All right, coming up next here on the Full Court Press, our Friday 5 Best. Who are the 5 best TV sports announcers out there? And when I first saw this, I thought all time or current. So we didn't clarify that. But we've both put out on Twitter who we think the 5 best are. And we've got a few interesting feedback comments on that as well. But coming up next year on the Full Court Press, we do this on Fridays, our Friday 5 Best.
I'm excited.
And this week, who do we think are the best TV sports announcers that are out there? We'll talk about that next here on the Full Court Press.
The Logan Gift Show is less than a month away and is now accepting applications for the 2019 show. This year's gift show is November 8th and 9th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. We would love to have your creative, unique, festive, and one-of-a-kind gift ideas. It's all about fun, style, and quality. This is a gift show that is truly a step above. The amazing food demonstrations ideas in your business will help deliver a gift show to remember. Visit with thousands of people looking for gift ideas and fun holiday cheer. Go to LoganGiftShow.com.
That's LoganGiftShow.com for details.
Or call 752-1390 for more information.
Sponsored by the Cache Valley Media Group.
Since I installed bathroom tile with the Dietra heat system from Castelite, my wife never sleeps in our bed. Honey, it's time to come to bed.
But it's so warm.
Oh.
Your wife will enjoy the Dietra heat system from Castelite in Logan enough to sleep on it.
Could you bring me a blanket and pillow?
With Castelite and the Dietra heat system, you'll turn your bathroom into the warm haven you deserve. Online at Castelite.com.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Eric Frandsen, Ajay Salvesen, Full Court Press continuing on. Next hour, we'll get into Utah State football and what else is going on in college football this weekend. This week in the Mountain West, we'll have that, our predictions, our keys for Utah State to get a win in Colorado Springs against the Air Force Academy. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's get into our Friday 5 Best, Ajay.
And don't forget, Bill Belichick will be joining us in the 5 o'clock hour to give us his thoughts.
Can't forget.
And we'll give you what will be brought to you by some funny sponsors. Our 5 best, Eric. During, as you said, this is one of the best months in sports, period. World Series, NBA, NFL, college football, NHL, the list goes on.
High school football playoffs.
But they're not on TV for good reason. So, Eric, I had a question in my head, and I wanted to get it out. 5 best TV sports announcers. And for me,
there's a lot of good ones out there.
Oh man, they're good. Yeah,
I had a hard time putting my list together.
Me too. So we did ours as currently active, but maybe get a couple of honorable mentions, Eric. Before is guys who you think maybe could be on the list.
Right. Yeah. Here's one that would make my honorable mention.
15th green, Shooter McGavin is putting for the win. Maybe it's just me, but his crowd seems unusually small for this type of moment. I think most people have found their way over to Happy Gilmore. He's been the talk of the course today with his huge drives and his amazingly bizarre behavior. He's on the 17th green right now, having a little trouble closing out his day.
Happy, the ball itself has its own energy, or life force, if you will. Its natural environment is in the hole. So why don't you send him home? His bags are packed. He's got his airplane tickets. Bring him to the airport. Send him home.
Send him home. I just send him home. It's time to go home there, ball.
Son of a ball, why didn't you just go home?
Who was that? Was that Vern Lundquist?
That was Vern Lundquist.
No, I've never seen Happy Gilmore.
What?
Yeah.
How is this possible?
I don't know. Just anything with Adam Sandler just doesn't look that attractive to me.
Oh, that's a classic. Happy learned how to putt. It's a great movie.
All right, so
Vern Lundquist, yes, he's in it. And Vern Lundquist, by the way, is still semi-active. He called some of the Masters this spring.
Called a few holes.
But he doesn't do quite as much as he used to. So he's on my honorable mention list. But he made your list.
Yeah, he did make my list. I've never seen an announcer. Actually, we'll get into it in just a bit. But yeah, he made my list. Number 5 for you.
Okay, number 5 for me is... Let me go back and find it. Number 5 for me is Mike Tirico. I like Mike Tirico in that he's versatile. He calls a variety of different sports. I think he's involved with the Olympics. He makes things exciting when they're supposed to be exciting. He doesn't overdo it. But he also adds an interesting insight to it. He's a very smart broadcaster. So Mike Tirico's number 5 for me.
I like that one. Number 5 for me is Kevin Harlan. I still remember in the 2009 playoffs with the Cavaliers and Celtics when LeBron James posterized Kevin Garnett, and then he said, LeBron James for no regard for human life was so good. One of my favorite calls. He is an absolute treasure, and from the people I've talked to who've met him, one of the nicest people in the world, too.
Yes, I too like Kevin Harlan. Number 4 on my list is Gus Johnson. Known mostly for college football and games that he's called in the Pac-12. He has had some of the most memorable calls in big moments. The way he gets excited, it just sends chills down your spine when you hear him call an exciting moment in college football.
It's giving me goosebumps, man. Number 4 for me is Vern Lundquist. You remember the kick 6, Alabama versus Auburn, how he handled it? He didn't say a word for like 3 minutes straight as the cameras went from players to coaches to fans to shock players and coaches and fans on the other side. He didn't say a word. He knew what the moment could say more than he could. That's good broadcasting.
It's a great quality, yes, knowing when to lay out. Number 3 on my list is Kevin Harlan. I love to listen to Kevin Harlan call a game. I heard him call an NFL game on the radio, and there was a streaker on the field. The TV cameras wouldn't show it, but he was doing the play-by-play of this guy running, and it was the best call of the whole game.
No kidding?
It was amazing.
Number 3 for me is a guy who's come along really recently, Brian Anderson, who's been announcing, who was announced in some of the baseball playoffs. Did an incredible job. Brought so much excitement to it, and huge Brian Anderson fan. So for me, number 3 is Brian Anderson.
All right, number 2 for me, Mike Breen. Calls great NBA games. I've really enjoyed watching him and listening to him call a game.
Most non-biased guy too. And number 2 for me, Sean McDonough. The 6 overtime game between UConn and Syracuse was delicious because of him.
He's good, very solid. Number 1 for me is Al Michaels. He's been there forever. He's called a variety of different games and platforms. Al Michaels is great.
And
he's the granddaddy for me.
Number 1 for me is Mike Patrick. He used to call the College World Series back in the day. I deeply, deeply miss him doing that.
All right, we'll share some of the other responses we got coming up next hour.
Cardinals. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Kirk Cousins got revenge on his former team, the Redskins, last night, leading the Vikings to a 19-9 win that was a little bit tougher than people thought it would be. But it still counts as a primetime victory for Cousins, something he doesn't have a lot of. He is having a great season. He entered Week 8 as the leader in the NFL in passer rating. He's even being mentioned as an MVP candidate. But still, beating Washington only proves so much. Part of the reason we expect more out of Cousins is the money he got. He got paid with multiple franchise tags in D.C. and then got that huge guaranteed contract in Minnesota. We're still waiting for Cousins to win big, a big national game. Next week at Kansas City, he'll have a shot. Then in 2 weeks, he'll be in Dallas. That will be a Sunday night game. Cousins will have plenty of opportunities to prove that he is the real deal in what could be a very special year for him and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.